Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're rediving deep into the shadows to talk about a film that's been crawling under my skin since I saw it. The 2024 horror flick, The Beldham. If you're a fan of psychological dread and folk horror that really makes you think, you're going to want to stick around for this one. So, what's the story? The Beldham introduces us to Elara, a young, overwhelmed mother who decides to leave the chaos of the city behind. Seeking refuge and a fresh start, she returns to her remote, slightly dilapidated family home with her infant son, Leo. On the surface, it seems like the perfect escape, the quiet countryside, the comforting nostalgia of childhood. But as we all know, in a horror movie, home is rarely just a place. It's a container for memories, and sometimes those memories have teeth. Almost immediately, the house begins to feel less like a sanctuary and more like a trap. The peace Elara was hoping for is shattered by unsettling noises, a faint whisper on the baby monitor that isn't hers, floorboards creaking in empty hallways, and a chilling melodic humming that seems to emanate from the very walls of the house. The film does a masterful job of building this atmosphere. It's not about jump scares, at least not at first. It's about the slow, creeping realization that they are not alone. The entity, which the film subtly refers to as the Beldham, isn't your typical movie monster. It's a presence that preys on Elara's deepest insecurities. As a new mother, she's already wrestling with exhaustion, anxiety, and the immense pressure to be a perfect protector for her child. The Beldham exploits this. It mimics the sound of Leo crying from another room, making her question her own senses. It creates illusions that make her doubt her sanity, blurring the lines between what's real and what's a product of her sleep-deprived mind. This is where the Beldham truly shines. It taps into the primal fear of not being able to trust your own mind, especially when you're responsible for a vulnerable life. Is the threat real, or is Elara experiencing a severe form of postpartum psychosis? The film walks this tightrope brilliantly, forcing us, the audience, to constantly reevaluate what we're seeing. We're right there with her, questioning every shadow and every sound. As Elara starts investigating the history of the house, she uncovers a dark legacy tied to the women in her family. Through old journals and faded photographs, she learns of a generational curse. The Beldham, it turns out, is an ancient entity that has always been tied to this land, this house, and this bloodline. It's a parasitic presence that attaches itself to new mothers in the family, feeding on their love and fear, and ultimately seeking to claim the child. It's a terrifying twist on the concept of inherited trauma, suggesting that some burdens are quite literally passed down through generations. The visual storytelling is just stunning. The cinematography uses a lot of muted, earthy tones, making the house feel both organic and decaying, like it's a living, breathing thing. There's a recurring visual motif of threads and weaving, suggesting how the Beldham ensnares its victims, tangling them in a web of fear and despair. The sound design is another character in itself. The absence of sound is often more terrifying than the noises we do hear. The silence is heavy, filled with anticipation and dread. What really elevates the film is the central performance. The actress playing Ilara gives an absolutely tour de force performance. You feel her love for Leo in every glance. And her spiraling terror is so raw and believable that it's genuinely difficult to watch at times. She makes you feel the crushing weight of her responsibility and the isolating horror of facing a supernatural threat that no one else can see or would ever believe. The climax of the film isn't a big, explosive CGI battle. It's a tense, emotional, and psychological confrontation. Ilara realizes that she can't fight the Beldham with force. It feeds on fear, so she has to confront it on its own terms. It becomes a battle of wills, a mother's protective instinct against an ancient, predatory evil. The ending is powerful, and I'll be honest, it's not necessarily a happy one in the traditional sense. It's haunting, ambiguous, and it will stick with you long after the credits roll. It raises questions about sacrifice, the nature of motherhood, and whether some cycles can ever truly be broken. The Beldham is more than just a ghost story. It's a profound exploration of maternal anxiety, generational trauma, and the terrifying vulnerability that comes with loving someone more than yourself. It proves that the most effective horror often comes from a place of deep emotional truth. It doesn't rely on cheap tricks. It earns its scares by grounding them in a character and a situation that feel painfully real. If you appreciate slow-burn, atmospheric horror like The Witch or Hereditary, then The Beldham is an absolute must-see. It's a film that respects its audience, trusting them to piece together the mystery and feel the dread without having everything spelled out. It's a beautifully crafted, intelligent, and genuinely terrifying piece of cinema. I can't recommend it enough for anyone who loves horror that lingers. So, have you seen The Beldham? What did you think of that ending? Let me know your theories down in the comments below. I'd love to chat with you all about it. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more deep dives into the world of film. Until next time, stay safe and watch good movies.